Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, friends. I am very late to be here today. But it's a wonderful, brisk spring morning here in Southern Oregon. I've got a hot pot of tea. All of my audio is working correctly. So everything makes it easy enough to be happy to be here today. Sometimes it's not so easy to be happy. And that's okay. I don't think that being happy is the height of the human experience solely. I don't think that's only being happy, right? I think that it's just one of an array of experiences that we have. But it is, I think, maybe our most natural state. I think that playfulness and joy, as being the opposite of stress, are more of our go-to natural states. I think that that's true for life in general. Life seems to have a playful quality to it, you know. And I think that sometimes we get stuck in the misery of knowing that we're not playing, and we forget to play. We forget what it is to play. And I don't know where this is coming from in my thoughts. I don't think that this is even what I was planning on talking about this morning, but that's okay. This evening, I am participating in a regular event that occurs in Southern Oregon called The Hearth. And it's a storytelling event where they have a number of storytellers, 5 to 6 storytellers, something like that, and a couple of musicians. And the way it functions is kind of similar to a popular program on NPR called The Moth, right? It's regular people telling their stories, whatever the story is. And I love this idea because in some ways it's removing from the idea of a performance that you have to be a professional in what you're doing. You know, when we go see a dance performance, we have these high expectations that it's professionals. When we see theater, we want them to be professional actors, professional directors. When we see movies, we want them to be made with high quality equipment and very skilled and refined artists. When we go to museums, same thing, right? But the truth that's there underneath all of this, underneath all of the refinement of art and really, we'll take even the word refinement out. Let's move it into the ownership of art. Who owns what is art? What is the expression? Has been sort of handed over to a very elite professional class, right? And it's, for me, for myself, it's drilled in this thing of, if you're going to perform something in front of people, you better be really, really good at it. You better be really refined. And that's one thing that I think, if I had a druther, right, if I had a wish about the way we behave as a culture, I would wish that we could understand that art and expression and dancing, movement, creation, all of creation belonged to everybody. And there wasn't a pressure to be good at it. How many people stand on the sides of the dance floor watching the dancers and listening to the music and wishing their bodies were moving in some way, but paralyzed in this fear of judgment or This feeling of, well, I'm not a dancer, so I can't dance. I'm not a singer, so I can't sing. Right? You hand somebody some materials for creating a picture, and oh, I'm not a painter, I can't paint. And we get stuck in this I am and I am not. When really singing is as easy as, extending the length of your words. It's speaking with spice. um, Dancing is just moving your body in a way that allows the music to speak through you. It doesn't have to have a set choreography, and it doesn't have to be a particularly refined and skilled practice. And there's nothing wrong with having a refined and skilled practice as an artist. I love it. I appreciate it. I strive for it myself in many ways. And it's funny that I have to even I feel like I have to qualify that statement to say there's nothing wrong with this other thing to make sure that this thing is valid. Because that's the dichotomous world we live in. We live in this culture of dualities, this culture of one versus the other, Coke versus Pepsi. Have you ever mixed Coke and Pepsi? It's disgusting, because they're all disgusting. Because, no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just not a big fan of sweet sodas. But my point is, we need to be able to break through this duality of who can and who can't move their bodies. I am and I am not. And I know that that's, some nice lip service to provide. We can all talk about that. Like, dance like nobody's watching. Oh. We can put it on our walls, pick it up at Pier 1 Imports on the sale rack. A nice embroidered pillow. Or we could try to break out of it. Like, actively break out of it. I don't know if you're familiar with Monty Python and the Flying Circus, or any of the Monty Python films, but there was a skit in their sketch comedy show, Monty Python and the Flying Circus. What was it called? The something of, I don't know if it was the embassy or the agency of strange walks. I could probably look this up, but it's obviously it's joking about, like, I don't even want to explain. I over explain stuff too much, I think. The idea of the thing is that these people are responsible for creating funny walks, funny ways to walk. And the reason I bring that up is myself and my friends, way back in our teen years, we used to walk around, campuses, like the college campus or just downtown or the mall, and we would affect these walks. We'd take on these silly walks. And it was just a fun way that we were learning how to break out of the boundaries of what is acceptable and doing it in a way that was still acceptable, right? It was funny. It was clearly making a show, but I think about the judgments that we have when people do just allow their creativity to flow in an unorthodox way, right? An inordained way. Somebody's just standing outside singing. And we see that, and the first thought that pops into many of our heads is, man, mental health in this culture has gone to crap. But what if that is the most mentally healthy thing you could do in any moment? Is just stand and let your heart sing. What if moving your body and dance for no good reason other than just to move your body and dance to celebrate life were a norm? You know, these are the things that I think about when I approach these events like the Hearth. Because as much as I want it to be that, as much as I want to say this is like a, you know, the point of this is to be unprofessional, to be just a person telling a story, I know that I have been a nervous wreck every time I think about having to speak in front of people tonight at this event, and what my story is going to be, and refining my story. And I guess I just wanted to comment on that even if we really believe in something, our training, the way that we have practiced, doesn't always allow for that thing to work out that way. And so we have to retrain ourselves. We have to steep ourselves in the practice of the new way of thinking, the new way of being. And it really comes down to a new way of believing. If I could, I would not believe at all. But I say that as if it's something I believe. So let's raise our cup of tea this morning. To the unrefined, ugly, bad dancers of the world, may you lead us into liberation, even if we don't deserve it. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go into a little bit of a practice. Just sit with the breath for a little bit and call it for this morning's sit. I appreciate you all for listening, whoever is out there listening right now. I really do. And I appreciate even more when anyone takes just a few moments in their day to become consciously aware of the breath, because I truly feel that the more awareness I have of my breath, the more I can sit with who I truly am, and that allows me the ability to be with anyone with who you truly are. I can release my judgments of myself, and I can release my judgments of anyone else, and just breathe together. Even in this moment, sitting in this chair in this office, I'm the only person here right now, that in body at least, right? And even having that thought, I feel deeply connected to every being who's breathing in this moment. So I just want to take a few moments to honor this practice that we all share, this life-giving force of breath. So seated as I am in a chair, you can have your feet flat to the floor or crossed in any number of positions. Maybe you're standing or lying down. But wherever you are right now, finding your meditation posture is finding that place of balance, where there's the least amount of stress or strain to hold yourself in place. And we are holding place for ourselves. Gently allowing the eyes to close if that's safe for you, or keeping them open with a soft gaze and a level of detachment from what you're seeing with your eyes to what you're experiencing with the body. Feel what your breath feels like right now. How is the body when you invite stillness? How long do you get with stillness before that inner 3-year-old starts knocking on the door, right? Can you slow the world down just for this few breaths to fully experience the rapture of breathing? Breathing in through the nose to the bottom of the belly. And releasing the breath fully. Let the subtle voice of your body come forward. Begin to play with the breath. Feel the breath as it dances through your body. Feel the breath in your upper back. In your knees. Feel the breath as it leaves the body, and the quiver of your chin follows as an emotion blossoms out like a spring flower. Let it catch you by surprise. Let yourself be surprised. This is play. Feel the shift in your body as this practice starts to take hold. Maybe you haven't experienced that yet and you've been working through this practice. That's okay. The places that you can go are opening to you, even if you don't necessarily understand them or feel them in this moment. Just taking this time to have this practice for the self is opening you to your own worthiness to receive. I'm going to say that one again. Taking this time for this practice and for yourself is opening you to your worthiness to receive. What if you knew you could receive love freely? What if you knew you could receive a compliment graciously? What if you knew you could receive criticism with love and kindness? That's what this practice is. This is a practice of receiving. And it's a practice of letting go. What if you could just let go in a breath? Thanks for being here this morning. Thanks for sharing the practice. Thanks for caring. Thanks for caring about you and caring about me and caring about others in your day. Caring is always better than the alternative. And with that, see you maybe next week. Hariom.